Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please stand. Hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing and join the board in a moment of silence as we honor our veterans, our first responders, our active military, and I would like to ask you to please keep the family of Jack Valenti, a former village employee who passed away early this week. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to July. I'll accept a motion for approval of bills and payroll.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Casado. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. While Mr. Rivera makes his way to the podium, I'd obviously like to mention that Trustee Salaski and Trustee Clark are unable to be with us here this evening, but they will be here next week.
Good evening.
Good
Resolved to approve the minutes of the meetings of the Board of Trustees from June 4th and June 11th, 2025.
Entertain a motion. Motion by Trustee Casado, seconded by
Second.
Deputy Mayor
Sorry, I'm forgetting we're only
Sartori. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Resolved to authorize the mayor to sign the Universal Multimodal Capital Project Agreement with the New York State DOT for a $25,000 grant to replace the street lighting, with LED street lights at Park and Field 1.
Motion.
A motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori,
Second.
seconded by Trustee Casado. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved to approve a request by the Knights of Columbus Corpus Christi Council Number 2502 for the use of the Wilson Park picnic area for the annual picnic on Saturday, August 2nd, 2025, from 12 noon to 5 p.m., with a rain date of Saturday, August 9th.
Entertain a motion. Motion by Trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Deputy Mayor Sartori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved to approve a request by the Mineola Golden Age Club for the use of the Village Hall Community Center for its meetings and activities on Thursdays from 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. From September 11th, 2025 to December 11th, 2025, subject to availability.
Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori, seconded by Trustee Casado. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved to approve the membership of the following candidates as recommended by the Mineola Fire Department, effective June 12, 2025. Michael Bonacuso, Company 2. Rafael Garrido, Company 1. Marco Martins, Company 1.
Motion.
Motion by Trustee Casado,
Second.
seconded by Deputy Mayor Sartori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And I have one personnel item, resolved to adjust the camp director's salary.
We made a mistake when we approved it, so we're just rectifying that error. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori, second by Trustee Casado. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera. Mr. Chacon.
Good evening, Mayor, Board,
Good
John T.
evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I have a few items tonight. The first one's resolved to approve fiscal year 24-25 year-end budget transfers in the pool fund an amount of $51,292.57.
Entertain a motion. Motion by Trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Deputy Mayor Sartori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The second item is resolved to adjust the pool budget fiscal year 24-25 for increased expenditures amounting to $80,891.15.
Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori, second by Trustee Casado. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The third item is resolved to accept the resignation of Nicole Gray effective June 6, 2025, and to approve a lump sum separation payout for unused accumulated time in accordance with the collective bargaining agreement, an amount of $188.46.
Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Deputy Mayor Sartori, second by Trustee Casado. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And the last item is resolved to accept the resignation of Ariana Lagos effective June 18, 2025, and approve a lump sum separation payout for unused accumulated time in accordance with the Mineola Memorial Library collective bargaining agreement amount of $225.75.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Casado, second by Deputy Mayor Sartori. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Palumbo.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
First, request a resolution authorizing the personnel service proposal to provide security services on an hourly basis for the Harrison Avenue parking garage to the lowest proposal, Eastgate Security. The funding source will be the 2025-2026 general fund and/or general fund unreserved balance.
Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Deputy Mayor Sartori, second by trustee Casado. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Request a resolution authorizing the purchase of 212 new water meters and 100 wall radios. The vendor is Rio Supply, Inc. of New York. The cost is $86,620, and the funding will be from the 2025-2026 water fund budget and/or the water fund unreserved balance.
Entertain a motion.
Motion?
Motion by trustee
Second.
Casado, second by Deputy Mayor Sartori. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next, request an amendment to a resolution number 142-25, authorizing the emergency purchase of the gutter grates for the John Estevanzo pool. The grates were delivered were wrong and had to be reordered. The supplier is Commercial Clear Water Company. The total cost is $64,835.50, and the funding source will be from the 2025-2026 pool fund and/or the unreserved pool fund balance.
And when do we expect them to be here?
They say 10 weeks.
10 weeks?
From now,
Yeah.
the pool's gonna
Yeah.
be closed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll have to make do with what we have there for this
Yeah,
year.
yeah, we painted them, hopefully it won't run on us like it
Right.
did last year.
Last year. Okay. All right. Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori, second by trustee Casado. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next, request a resolution authorizing change order number 7, a credit listed on the agenda for the PTAS treatment at Well 1, Phase 1 installation contract. The credit is $134,170.22. The contractor is Philip Ross Industries, Inc. This will reduce the remaining value of bid items 4, 5, 6, and 9 to 0, and will reduce the contract amount by the value of the change order. The new value of the contract will be reduced from $3,200,000 to $3,065,829.78.
Okay.
I like that.
Good. Okay. Keep going. Entertain a motion.
Motion?
Motion by trustee Casado. Second.
Second.
Second by Deputy Mayor Sartori. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next, request a resolution authorizing change order number 1 for the 1,4-dioxane PFOA and PFOS treatment at Well 4 from the electrical contract. Change order 1 is a relocation of existing heater units, power roll-up doors, relocate clear well level transmitter, mount sump pump control panel, and power caustic soda injection solenoid. The cost is $24,511.77, and the contract is LEB Electrical Ltd. The cost of the change order come from electrical contract allowance, resulting in no change in the total electrical contract price.
Entertain a motion. Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori, second by trustee Casado. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
A couple personnel items. First, request a resolution authorizing the hiring of Nicholas Schneider as a laborer in the sanitation division of the Department of Public Works at the starting salary of $18 and including motor equipment operator pay in accordance with the collective bargaining agreement.
Okay, and this is to fill the position from a retiring member of
Yeah.
sanitation.
This is the last position.
Last
we have.
position. Good. So they're fully staffed at this point.
Yes,
Okay?
Nice.
And he has a CDL license.
yes.
Okay, great. Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Deputy Mayor Sartori. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
And one more. Request the resolution authorizing the posting of a parking enforcement officer position in the Department of Public Works.
Okay, we are filling a position from somebody who left in the parking enforcement. Parking enforcement. Yep. Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori, second by trustee Casado. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
That's it, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
you.
Mr. O'Keefe, anything?
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
So in the month of June 2025, a total of 89 permits were issued by the building department. Just a couple of things. We are actively monitoring the progress of two key construction projects in the village. 155 First Street being one of them, where the decking for the third floor is now underway. So I think it's marking a significant step moving forward for the development, because now the framing will really start to fly up and the project will move forward. 111 Second Street they've begun site preparation for the upcoming foundation installation. Back on the property maintenance front, we received a strong reaction from last month's memo. While many property owners took prompt action, we did need to issue notices of violation to several commercial properties, providing them with a 72-hour window to respond. Most complied with the deadline. However, summonses were issued to a few non-responsive properties. But overall, I think getting these memos and NOVs out up front like last season made considerable impact and have probably kept us from numerous complaints. So
Okay, appreciate that.
Yep.
Anything else?
that's it for me tonight.
Okay. Any questions? No? Thank you, Mr. O'Keefe. Mr. Gibbons?
No report, Mayor.
No report, okay. I'll entertain a motion to close the work session.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori, second by Trustee Casalo. In favor? Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Since it is past 7 o'clock, we're gonna just roll right into our public meeting. So welcome, everyone. I would just like to mention a couple of things. As I mentioned at the opening to our work session, this week, Mineola lost 2 members of our Mineola family. Of course, everyone has heard about the passing of Congresswoman and former Mineola resident Carolyn McCarthy. So, of course, our sympathies to her son and to her family. She, of course, those of us who are a certain age remember exactly when and where we were when that tragic night of December 7th, 1993, which catapulted Carolyn McCarthy to the public national stage, which I'm sure she would have much rather not been a part of, but so we certainly will miss her. She represented this district very, very courageously for a number of terms. And Jack Valenti, a former village employee who actually lived right behind Village Hall here, large extended family here in the village of Mineola, worked in our sanitation department and passed away this week after a long battle with an illness. So he leaves behind brothers, sisters, nephews, cousins, a large family, most of them right here in Mineola. So our thoughts and prayers with both the McCarthy and the Valenti family with connections here to Mineola. I don't want to take all the thunder. As I mentioned earlier, Trustee Clark and Trustee Solosky are not here this week, but tomorrow night we have our second concert on Sounds on Second. Cover to Cover, I believe, is the band. Okay, so 7 or 7:30? 7:30. It's going to be a beautiful night right before the 4th of July, so come on out. You're going to have Lucharitos and the St. James and Starbucks and PS Burgers and Spaghettini and Halal Munchies. They'll all be open for business, so come on down, bring a chair, or frequent one of those establishments and listen to some great music with friends and neighbors and family. So that's tomorrow. I will leave, of course, our pool is open. It's been really, really hot these last 2 weeks, so I know that we're getting use of it. And I have not been down there to witness, but I have asked, and apparently the food section of the pool is a big hit. People are really enjoying it. People are behaving themselves in terms of cleaning up after themselves, so it's great, and I think this is just the beginning for that. And last but not least, and then I'll pass it on to the Deputy Mayor, I'd like to thank everyone who was involved in making the Arts Festival a huge success, the Mural Festival. If you haven't had an opportunity to go down to the corner of Main Street and 2nd Street, the construction site that is going to break ground at some point in the next few months, rather than having just a traditional construction fence, we asked the property owner to put up boards, and then we invited, I believe, like 32 artists to do individual murals along that wall. I actually was down there this afternoon and asked one of the business owners what they thought, and they couldn't be happier that they are looking at these beautiful pieces of artwork. So With that, I'll pass it on to, and happy 4th of July, everyone. Please be safe, be smart, okay, and use caution. So happy 4th of July. Happy birthday, America.
Thank you, Mayor. Last week, I had the honor of swearing in some new officers to our junior fire department. So I just wanted to thank them, and I especially wanted to congratulate and thank our new junior fire department captain and junior firefighter of the year, Thomas Breslin. Very impressive young man. He is definitely going to go places. He actually, in his speech, said he wants to be the mayor of Mineola. So look out, he's coming for you.
He can have it.
He also
He was actually my student last year, so.
he's
got a
also
couple
going
years
for
to
the
go.
president, but he's starting with you. So I just wanted to congratulate all the boys. I wanted to thank them. I wanted to thank both Gary Mazer and the families of these young men. You know, it's a big decision to become involved in our fire department. So those kids needed the support of all those people and the preparation and the training to do so and take on these leadership roles. So the village is definitely lucky to have them. They are the future of our fire department, so we congratulate them. I've also had the privilege of kind of doing a ribbon cutting at 2 new businesses. So I wanted to shout out to them. Tiny Teeth Pediatric Dentist, which is right here on the corner of Jericho and Mineola Boulevard. Wonderful, clean, beautiful facility. I think your children, while they may not like the dentist, at least they'd be in a happy environment and they may be more willing to accommodate it. And I also wanted to welcome El Sol, which is a Mexican restaurant on Old Country Road. So welcome to Mineola. We're glad you chose our neighborhood, and I encourage everyone to go and visit their new businesses. And last but not least, as the mayor said, we have a concert tomorrow on 2nd Street. We had a wonderful concert, Love Song, a week or so ago in the park. And on Sunday, we have Swing Time in the park this Sunday at 7:30 as well. So come out if you haven't seen those concerts. We have a lot more opportunities coming your way. So go out, hear some music, enjoy the holiday weekend in Mineola. Along with that, I wanted to thank DPW. There's a lean and mean crew out there to help us get all these things organized and prepared. So thank you to all those guys. And happy birthday, America. Happy 4th of July. Just remember, it's a different sanitation schedule this week, so please make sure you check your flyers or the website and you don't have garbage out over the long weekend. And that's it. Enjoy the holiday.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Trustee Casado?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to take this opportunity to congratulate the classes of 2025 on their recent graduations, whether that's college, high school, elementary, an important day in these kids' lives. So congratulations to them.
Okay, excellent. I actually attended graduation on Saturday, Mineola High School graduation. It was great. We also should mention, although we have a meeting next week, it's a public hearing next week, that next Friday and Saturday, we have our second large festival in our event series, which is the 90s Nostalgia Festival. It's at Wilson Park on Friday night from 4 to 9, and on Saturday from 2 to 9. So we'll have 90s music, 90s themed activities, food trucks, of course. So people of a certain age or all ages, come on down to Wilson Park next Friday and Saturday for our second event called the 90s Nostalgia Fest, kind of part of these arts festival that we did last week. And again, MineolaEvents.com is where you will get all this information. Linda, did we miss anything? That's it for now.
Till next
Okay.
week.
And I should mention that one of the reasons that I was not at the junior fire department swearing in or the ribbon cuttings is that I actually was in the Azores for 3 days last week. The Azores are a group of islands in the middle of the Atlantic at the invitation of the Luso-American Foundation for a Sister City Summit. And those of you who've been paying attention, we did have a sister city from Portugal last year that we saw, actually July 12th of last year. We're coming up on our 1-year anniversary. And so we were invited, every American mayor that has a sister city in Portugal was invited to this summit in the middle of the Atlantic. So there were mayors from Hawaii, from California, from Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Mineola. And then our sister city mayors from Portugal, meeting, discussing best practices, what does it mean to be a sister city, what kinds of exchanges, success stories, and sharing best practices. So that was a great opportunity, all of this at the invitation of this private foundation. So that's why I missed those events, but they were long days, but it was a lot of fun. It was great to meet all of these different mayors from the United States and Portugal sharing these ideas. Okay, with that, I'll open it up to any public comment. Anyone wishing to say anything? Ms. Powers? All right, let's go. Or, well, we'll,
Start.
would you like to come up? Okay. Ladies, come on up. Not yet. So approach the podium, introduce yourself, tell us where you live, and then tell us what your mom.
No?
My name is Jillian Powers. I live on 356 White Road, Mineola, New York, obviously. And I'm requesting pickleball lines on the Mineola courts on Mineola Memorial Park, on the tennis courts, because it's far, especially for kids in my neighborhood, like on that side of Jericho, to ride their bikes all the way across toward the pool side, because it's very far, and yeah.
Okay.
I love it.
I like
Also, the basketball courts on Emory, like the hoops and the pavement on the court, because also it's far away from that.
We actually spoke about that because another Powers brought it to my attention. So no. So Jillian's sister Emma, who graduated this
Yeah.
year, is the class president,
Yeah.
and she, on your behalf, Jillian told me that, and so I spoke to Mr. Palumbo, and we are looking to do some upgrades at Emory Park. So when we do those upgrades, it will include, cleaning up the basketball court and perhaps different. I know that. Do we have the chain ones up there or? Cloth ones. Okay. So, but I do like the idea of, and we've thought about
Yeah.
that. So we just redid the tennis courts not that long ago, a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But we will look into what it would mean to just redraw the lines. That's something that people do all the time. What we're concerned about is that it becomes so popular that, like the ones down by the pool, that it's tough to keep people off of them. So I don't know if you've been paying attention, but we just approved 2 weeks ago an indoor pickleball facility over by Hampton Street Stadium. Obviously, that you would have to pay for, but you could play pickleball all year round. I'm sure they're going to do leagues and they're going to do all kinds of activities there. So that is going to be right where Union and 2nd Street, right by where football and lacrosse is played for the high school, essentially right there. But we're definitely going to look into your suggestion,
Yes.
and I can't promise that we'll do it for this season, but I also know that I spoke, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, that Dr. Nagler is looking to do pickleball somewhere on the school district side as well, because it's becoming so popular, and there's talk about pickleball becoming a scholastic sport, like where schools have teams and they play against other teams. So I think it's here to stay. So point noted on both, okay? And we'll see what we can do. Ladies, how about you guys? Well, you have to at least introduce yourselves.
I'm Grace Galanga.
And you guys are all going into 8th?
7th.
7th. Okay.
Yeah,
Very
I
good.
agree with her.
Good.
Okay, hi, I'm Aaron Flaherty. I don't live in Mineola, I live in Wilston Park. But I will say when I do come to hang out with them and some of my other friends that live in Mineola, every time that we hang out, we always keep in our mind to that we have the courts there to go to. But we do wish that there were more pickleball spots, because you were saying pickleball's got so popular, so like in these past few years. So like when there's only spots at Wilson, it's kind of like hard to go there every single time if we
Right.
don't have like a ride. So it would be easier if there was pickleball courts.
Okay, excellent, Erin. And Erin, I remember when you used to come to my camp and you were like a little tiny. It's great to see you. Thank you, ladies.
Good job.
Great
Bill.
idea,
job,
ladies.
Great
Good
job.
job.
Thank you. Awesome.
You
Very
could
good.
also play tennis
Yes, you
meanwhile,
could play
right?
tennis.
Tennis is a pretty fabulous sport.
All right. Try to beat that.
I don't know how to follow that.
Yeah.
Good evening,
Good
Mr.
evening.
Mayor, members of the board.
Good evening.
I just want to offer my thanks once again to you devoting the resources that we've requested to look into the speeding along Marcellus Road and make some improvements. I'll be talking to Mr. Rivera offline to see how things are going. I do have a request. I seem to have become sort of the mini mayor of that location. So a couple of neighbors have come to me about, there's that the speed detector that was installed,
Mhm.
thank you, in front of
Mhm.
my house,
Okay.
but it's not functioning. It's been there almost a month. I think it needs a battery or maybe some solar cells, but at least
Alright.
at the moment, it's not operational.
All right, we'll check with Mr. Palumbo. When that happens, don't wait for a meeting. Call Mr. Rivera.
I see, okay.
Okay, we're
Oh,
working on it. So
well,
we're
yeah.
aware of it and we're working on it.
One of the batteries weren't charging, we need both to run it, and we're in talks with the company about the data we're trying to retrieve, which
Right.
I know we can't, because we went from Bluetooth to internet now.
Mm.
So those,
This is so old, we got them
Yeah.
years ago.
right, we had those for years. And so those collect data because they tell us how many cars go by, what speed, and so I used to think that they just tell the driver how fast they're going and
Right.
kind of encourage them to slow down. But we actually can retrieve data from them so that we can then go
Excellent.
to the police department and say, hey, there are 63 cars a day on average that are speeding down this street. Can you put some resources there? So we're working with the company to get that, but, you know, we're trying to move things along. But certainly talk to Mr. Rivera at any point. Okay, so like,
Oh,
for example,
he's been wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful that he's on your service.
we
Us
are too.
too.
We are too.
But I'm also thankful to you for allowing him to devote the resources that we've requested. So,
We
thank you
appreciate
again. I
that.
have a
Thank you.
friend from the neighborhood who also has been interested in this. So, we have representation.
Yeah, and we're continuing to look at, we have our, as we told you a couple of meetings ago, we have our engineers looking at other alternatives. So this is just a first step, contacting the third precinct, putting up these speed, cameras, not cameras, but kind of radars, and then looking into some kind of traffic calming devices. So we have our engineers looking at other places where this may be done. So this is going to be a series of things to see if we can mitigate that ongoing issue.
I'm hoping that the solutions are low-tech, inexpensive, and
Yeah,
just
so are we.
practical, that don't cause problems for your...
Usually they are, usually tickets, which are very low tech. Those usually get the
I'm
job
up
done
for
too.
that. We haven't seen, by the way, at least I haven't seen any police vehicles coming through. I
Okay,
don't know
well,
if they're
we
unmarked, maybe?
always like to call them and remind them,
Right,
so we will tomorrow,
thank you.
okay? Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How are
If
you?
I may add to that, hi, I'm Patricia Becker.
Hi.
I live on Marcellus Road as well. My family has been in that residence continuously since 1961. So I know very well what the traffic has evolved over the decades. And I started out, of course, probably as many people who lived here in Mineola, playing box ball and street ball on Marcellus Road. Now Steve lives right across the street. I'm afraid to cross the street sometimes because it's gotten that bad. And while I appreciate your efforts, Steve is a lot nicer than me, I would point out. I would say the electronic signage, if people don't, it's not simply the speeding, but they blow past there's 4 stop signs between Hillside and Jericho, and people blow through that regularly. And if they don't care about the stop signs, they're not gonna care about the speed limit. So I don't particularly care about the signage, the electronic signs. Certainly if it feeds you data, and then that data is translated to the police, that could help. The police aren't going to have sufficient resources with all of the volume coming on Marcellus, because people use it as a cut-through from Hillside to Jericho. Police presence isn't gonna do it. As I said, over the last decades, I've seen everything tried, and I've seen the police there, and then they go. You know, so to me, what I'm looking for are speed bumps. And this isn't the first time I've been up here, though it's been a while. I think I probably was your predecessor, maybe a couple before. And I expressly asked speed bumps, and he said, the snow plows, it bothers the snow plows. And it bothered me that when I spoke to Steve, he said somebody brought up that same excuse. And I said, you're gonna put people's lives at risk for snow plows that come around maybe 3 or 4 times a year? I don't know. You know, the snow days. So speed bumps, these people in their cars and their trucks, they obviously don't care for their neighbors. They don't care for the community. They care about their car. You mentioned tickets. Yes, they'll care about that. But $65 to them, $75 to them, no. But if they get a ding on their tire or something like that. So speed plows, to me, that I would prefer to go right as a priority. You mentioned something vaguely about other alternatives. Maybe another alternative is not make it a direct throughway. In other words, come down up to, I'm by Houston and Marcellus. Excuse me, that's in New York. I'm Houston,
Yeah.
excuse me. Houston and Marcellus, make it so that you cannot go. Maybe you have met, that's a one-way between Wilson and Houston Avenue or something, so that people have to detour either left or right on Houston.
And then I'll have those people from those streets coming
Exactly.
here saying.
Exactly.
Right.
But-
I do appreciate, and by the way, when your neighbor was here the first time, like I said, immediately, the very next day, we started to address the issue.
What took you so long? I'm sure this is throughout. I think I've seen, this is the first, when Steve came to you? No,
The fir-
obviously, I
Yeah,
came
yeah,
to your medicine,
yeah,
I came to your
since
predecessor, so.
I've been here since 2008, and
Right.
frankly, I have a pretty good memory. I certainly don't remember you coming here since
No,
I've
not
been on
here. It
board.
was it was a meeting elsewhere. It was with the, somebody from the police precinct, and they were
Okay.
talking about security, but,
Okay, so it could have been a community forum, so I don't
Right.
remember.
right.
We are addressing it. I even mentioned about alternatives to speed bumps. There are these like rubber things that you can bolt into the ground, and you can take them on and off, and you can move them so that they're not built into the road. But you know, we have 36 miles of road. Everyone would love speed bumps because everyone thinks that everybody speeds through their block. So it's Horton, it's Burkhardt, it's Marcellus, it's Wilson,
Foch,
it's
yeah.
Foch, it's
Right.
all of them. And not only is it not practical, we can't just put speed bumps everywhere. So we put stop signs, we put other things in place, traffic lights and things like that, but it's finite. Just as you said, people don't care about their neighbors. People are going to do what they're going to do regardless of
Until-
what we do. But that's not to say that we're not going to do nothing. But I can't snap my fingers and put speed bumps on your street tomorrow. We have to look at the engineering of it. We have to think of, just as you said, there's a solution for you, which is to divert the traffic and make it one way up to a certain point. But that's going to, we get the same issue using as an example. You know, people on Emory Road or by schools in general don't like school kids and teachers to park there. So they say, can we do no parking from 9 to 10 a.m.? This way they don't, or 9 to 11. Great, we'll do that. So now all of a sudden you've pushed Emory's problem to Latham, to Andrews. And guess what? The person that lives on Latham or Andrews didn't buy a house across the street from the school. You did, right? So I live on Coolidge. Now all of a sudden I have people coming down here because.
Coolidge is one way,
Well,
isn't it?
I'm just using
Where's the
as
other
an
one?
example.
Oh, I see.
Houston, you know, whatever road you want to do this at. And then Marcellus, we have the added kind of wrinkle, which is it's not wholly in the village of Mineola. right? It goes into Williston Park as well.
That's all right, I'll go bother them too.
Okay, you're not bothering us, I just hope you appreciate that we're trying to find a solution, and I can hear your frustration.
Yeah.
But this is the first time that you've been here.
Here, correct, yes.
Okay.
Here,
Yep.
but not
This
speaking
is
to
the
the
first time
mayor,
that you have expressed this to me, to this board directly, okay?
to this board, correct.
Your neighbor came here maybe a month or two ago. In that time, we
Yeah.
have actively sought solutions,
Good,
okay? So, I mean, that's all I can tell you. Am I going to stop somebody when you go home right now from crossing? And as I mentioned back then, you know, we have now Waze and GPS, and people cut through places where they may not even be from the neighborhood because the GPS is sending them that way because it's going to save them 30 seconds.
I just want to know solutions, Mayor. I
And I gave
appreciate
you
all,
3
I
of them.
appreciate the difficulty involved, but as I said, over the years, I've seen the police presence, you know. I'd like to know if somebody could tell me why speed bumps are such a problem. I mean, you know, you got the electronics up there, that's great, maybe that will help. I'd like to know what solutions you have considered.
So I'd like to, if you don't mind,
Go
and
ahead.
I'll look into that. If you can find me another similar community on Long Island where, because I'm sure this problem of people
Right,
cutting through
sure.
neighborhood streets is not unique, where there are an abundance of speed bumps, where there are speed bumps everywhere.
Mayor, I'm just talking about Marcellus Road, and I appreciate that half of it is in Williston Park, but if somebody from Emory, Coolidge, or those blocks want to come, let them come. Right now, the only thing before the board, the trust, is Marcellus Road.
Okay?
Thank you. Thank you so
I
much.
appreciate it. Have a great
Appreciate
night. Happy 4th of July.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to comment? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to close the public meeting.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori, second by Trustee Casado. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Hope to see you all tomorrow at the concert. Sounds on 2nd, 7:30 on 2nd Street. Sunday, swing time at Mineola Memorial Park. Thank you. Have a great night, everyone. Enjoy the holiday. Bye, girls.
Good job, girls.
I have to run out. I have to run out. I do. I have enough meetings. Sorry. Bella, you can email me and then I'll try to get back to you, or reach out to Brian, but I have to run out. Good night, guys. Good night.